from South Florida, and I wasn't anywhere near a local Glazer Kennedy group. So when I moved up here and I found out about this group, I was so excited to come and participate, and this has just been a great opportunity to get more involved, because I've been a member of Glazer Kennedy and involved in the Glazer Kennedy world for about 6 years, and I'm still feeling overwhelmed by all the information. Partiv asked me the other day, did you get this month's newsletter? Did you? And I said, yeah, it's sitting on a pile over there in my desk because I haven't gotten to it yet. Always so much good information, and not necessarily enough time to get through all of it. So, welcome to the Northern Virginia chapter. We're going to talk today about appreciation as a marketing tool. There are some secrets about gratitude and the law of reciprocity. And if you're not familiar with them, learning about them can really help boost your business. So let's see if this works. We're all entrepreneurs now, but have you ever worked at a job in a cubicle or an office where you really hated what you were doing? Yes? Anyone? Okay. So you can relate to this picture? We all have been in that situation, and you're sitting at your desk thinking, does anybody even care what I do? I could stand on my head all day and nobody would even notice. But what would happen if one day someone delivered a package to you and you opened it and it was actually a gift? It was something that a vendor sent to you, or your boss, or someone who works with you sent you something and said, hey, I really value what you do. What you do is really important to me, and thank you for doing what you do. How would that make you feel?
That's cool.
Yeah, it would make your day. You know what? Sometimes there are people sitting in office cubicles that would make their year. Yeah, it's really powerful. So what is the law of reciprocity? And we'll get back to the whole idea of how that makes you feel. Wasn't it Maya Angelou who said that people will not remember what you did? I'm totally paraphrasing this. They won't remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Yeah. So the law of reciprocity has to do with your natural inclination as a human is that when someone does something nice for you, you want to pay them back in some way. You can't help it. It's how we're wired. So in business, when you acknowledge a client's value or an employee's value or whoever you work with, when you acknowledge their value, instinctively, they want to give you more. They want to help you. If it's somebody who's sending you referrals, now they want to send you more referrals because you've done something nice for them. It's just how we're wired as humans. So when you send a thank you, not only are you using good manners, which is a whole other thing. My mom always taught me every gift I ever got, sit down, write a thank you note. Anyone else have that? I hated doing it at the time, but in hindsight, it was a really good lesson. And when you do that now, so few people do it, you really stand out. So when we talk about marketing and Glazer Kennedy style marketing, we're talking about how can I stand out. Simply saying thank you is a fantastic way to stand out, and then you get that added benefit of now the person you sent that thank you to wants to help you even more. So how do we put this power of gratitude to work? Well, here's what typically happens in a lot of businesses and a lot of business people I've talked with. This is what happens. Somebody's sending them a lot of business or a lot of referrals, and they say, oh, I need to say thank you to that person. I should send a gift card. I should write a thank you note. I really want to send a gift basket, something. But then life goes on, and business goes on, and it gets put on the back burner, and now 3 months have gone by, and you go, oh, I never sent, well, now it's too late, I'm kind of embarrassed, I didn't say anything, and all right, I'll just wait till Christmas. And then December comes, and everybody sends stuff out at Christmas, and what happens? If you've worked in an office, stuff just starts coming in, and nobody's paying any attention to who sent what. Just a bunch of stuff in the kitchen, and everybody's eating. So to make sure that those 3 months don't go by and it's embarrassing and now you're lost in the crowd in December, what I recommend doing is implementing appreciation into your marketing strategy. It's actually sitting down and thinking about incorporating this as part and creating a system so that it's not an afterthought. It doesn't get put on the back burner. It becomes part of what you do on a consistent basis. And it makes a difference, just like anything else that you do on a consistent basis. If you're working out and you go to the gym once a month, you're not going to get the results you're probably looking for. But even if you go every other day for 20 minutes, it's that consistency that's going to get you the results. Same thing in anything having to do with marketing, but we're talking specifically today about the appreciation component of it. So how do you do that? It's really not that complicated to create this kind of system. First, you have to ask yourself, what's the lifetime value of a client? I ask people this all the time, and I am surprised at how few people know what the lifetime value of a client is. Well, they're worth maybe $15 or $500 on their first transaction. Okay, well, do you get any referrals from that person? Do they come back and give you additional business? All of that gets added into the lifetime value of a client. And that's an important thing to know, not just for the purposes of saying thank you to them, but there are a lot of other reasons to know that. But for our purpose today, what's the lifetime value of a client? Not everybody's going to have the same value to your business. Did you have to read Animal Farm in high school? Do you remember that book? There was one of the animals says something to the effect of, all the animals are created equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Same thing with clients. Some are more equal than others. It's just a fact. Some clients are more valuable than others. So if you can divide your client list into A, B, and C, and then set criteria and create a system for saying thank you to them. If they're on the A list, maybe they get something every month from you. If they're a B list client, maybe it's quarterly. And if they're a C list client where they're valuable but they're sporadic in the business that they give to you, then maybe you're sending them a thank you every 6 months or once a year. But you have to create this system and set this up so that you know. And then also what this does is it allows you to create a budget, because depending on the lifetime value of a client, some businesses I know are sending iPads and some are sending handwritten thank you notes. And it doesn't really matter what you're doing but you're not going to send an iPad for someone who has a $50 lifetime value for you. That's why it's important to know. And then you can make those kinds of choices. So I know a lot of business people who may understand the idea of saying thank you for business, and they send a gift card or they give a commission check. Money's great, right? Everybody wants money. There's a commercial running right now. What is it for? The guy saying, everybody likes money, right? And the baby throws his cereal at him. Have you seen that one? But it's money. Maybe that's not the best thing to do. Dan Ariely wrote a book called Predictably Irrational. I highly recommend reading it. It's part psychological. It talks a lot about why humans make the decisions that they do, even if they are irrational. And you can predict how people will act and respond even when it's irrational. It doesn't make any sense, but that's how, again, that's how we're wired. And in the book, he talks about different types of norms. So there are market norms, which have to do with money and spending money, salaries, rent, interest, financial transactions. Those fall under market norms. And then there's another set of norms called social norms. Dinner at a friend's house, helping your brother move a couch. You ask people to do you a favor kind of thing, or they invite you to do something nice with them. Now, if you get those two confused, it could be somewhat embarrassing. Let's say you go to a friend's house for dinner, and they serve you a beautiful meal. At the end of the night, you're all sitting back, and you pull out your wallet and go, so how much do I owe you? Have you ever had that experience? No, we just don't do that in our society. It's awkward. It would be awkward to do that. But what you would do is perhaps bring a bottle of wine or some flowers or a dessert. That is acceptable. On the other hand, if you're dealing in market norms and you take a bottle of wine to your landlord instead of the rent check, he's probably not going to react very well to that either. So you don't want to get those two confused. And a lot of times what business people will do when they're giving a gift card or a check as a thank you for referrals, or as a thank you for your business, I appreciate your business, here's a kickback kind of thing, even if it's not called that. That's setting up the market norm. So now it's a financial transaction as opposed to a genuine thank you for doing something nice for me. And so businesses will see a better result and get better results, get more referrals, get more business by giving a gift and showing a genuine way to show appreciation. I was talking earlier this morning, I forgot your name, I'm sorry. Brian? Gary, okay, sorry. Gary and I were talking, and he mentioned promotional items, and couldn't you send promotional items as a thank you? Well, you could, but again, I'm thinking that's not really, when you get a promotional item from a business, it's not a genuine thank you. It's a promotional item, so it's promoting your business, but I recommend sending something that is a genuine gift. And you understand the difference now between market and party. How about a what? That would be a gift. Yeah, but if it has your company name printed on it, that would be a promotional item. Yeah, no. Okay, well, I'll make a note. When's your birthday? Consistently saying thank you to your clients is simply the right thing to do. It's going to help you stand out because so few businesses are doing it. And it's just the right thing to do. Again, going back to having your mom stand over you and say, write that thank you note. It's the right thing to do. It's good manners, and it's good for your business. Sometimes, though, and I just had this come up with a client recently, he mentioned that he hadn't heard from anything from the people that he sent thank yous to. And I said, well, you know, it's kind of an odd thing. You're sending a thank you to someone, and then you're expecting them to say thank you for the thank you. Sometimes, and a lot of times, they don't, but it's still the right thing to do. It's like changing the oil in your car. You know it's the right thing to do. Do you really notice a difference if you don't? Well, maybe after 50,000 miles you might, but if you're doing it consistently every 3 or 5,000 miles, you may not be noticing anything immediately, but over the long term, your car is going to function properly for a lot longer. Sometimes showing appreciation is similar to that you may not see immediate results, but you are definitely having an impact. There have been times when I have talked to people who have gotten thank you notes, not necessarily from me, but somebody sent the thank you note. That note will sit on someone's desk or on their bulletin board for years because there are so few of them. It just, again, something as simple as a note. So why isn't everyone harnessing this power? It's huge. And why isn't everyone doing it? Lazy. Well, again, it goes back to it gets put on the back burner and they just don't get to it. So either they don't know how powerful it is, they have no plan or system. And so maybe it's not necessarily laziness, but I mean, that could be certainly one of the things. Maybe it's more they don't have a system in place to do it. And so everything else gets piled on top. They're putting out fires and thinking about the power of this thing we call gratitude isn't at the top of their list. So again, there's no plan or system. And then there's the ever popular, I can't afford it. Okay, can you afford 44 cents on a card to write a thank you note? Handwritten, I highly recommend handwritten. It's far more powerful than, certainly more than an email. And I'm not going to knock any automated card services because I believe they have their place. But I think when you handwrite in blue ink, it's just more impact. It shows that you actually took the time to write it. You could have an assistant write it. Somebody, some human, write in handwriting. So going back to the idea that there's not money in the budget, which goes back to the whole, how much is a client worth to you? You really have to look at, we won't get too much into this, but the price versus value, and a couple of people mentioned The Go-Giver, and Bob Berg wrote The Go-Giver, and he talks a lot about the difference between price and value, and he got that from, who's the guy? He's huge. He's a legend. And he's from Texas, and he has the accent, and Bob does the accent. Thank you. Zig Ziglar. You have to recognize cost versus value. And I'm not doing a good impression of him, but he has a whole story about cost versus value. And so what you spend on something is not necessarily, it does not indicate the value of it. You could spend very little and make a huge impact. So here's an interesting statistic. Up to 64% of your clients will leave your business and not say a word. They'll just quietly go away. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't pissed them off. You haven't made a mistake. They just go away because you haven't said thank you. They don't feel that you value their business, and they will go looking somewhere else for another source that does value their business more. Any examples? Have you ever done this yourself? Sure, you give me an example of what kind of business you went away from because they weren't valuing you.
Auto repair.
Auto repair, okay. So you just went away and found a different service center.
Or actually a better one is my hairdresser.
Okay.
I've been going to her for about 4 years, and I just stopped going. I haven't heard from her. Not a call, not a text, not a are you dead or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm serious. I used to go like
Right.
every other week.
Yeah.
I think that somebody would notice that I was missing.
Yeah, right. And because you didn't think she valued your business?
I think if she had called me afterwards and said, well, let's schedule an appointment,
Yeah.
I would have done it.
Yeah,
But
right.
I know that she probably didn't value it after the fact.
Well, she made it clear that she didn't value your business by not following up with,
Yeah.
where are you? I miss you.
Yeah, yeah.
So it goes back to what we started this whole conversation with, is making someone feel important and valuable. That's what it comes down to. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what my business does. My company is called ZenRabbit, and ZenRabbit works with business professionals to help them multiply their profits through appreciation. And we help you systematize this whole process. The main tool that we use to do this is called the gratitude cookie. It's actually a cookie. I've brought some. They're over here on the table, and I invite you to take some for mid-afternoon snack. They probably won't make it back to your office. That's usually what happens. but you're welcome to take some. It's really a done-for-you program of client appreciation. Send me your assistant, send me your list, packages go out, we customize everything. So yeah, actually, right here, a sample of, and this was a client who was sending something to Ben, so I hand delivered it today. Usually I don't hand deliver. I have FedEx and the post office to help me with that, but Ben's special and he gets hand delivered packages. But everything can be customized with your logo, your message, all that good stuff. Yes. You put anything you want on there. And yeah, and so again, when you talk about doing something distinctive and different and standing out, that's what I specialize in helping people do. I have recently created, as suggested by the Glazer Kennedy world all the time, a special report. And I'm very excited to share it. You're one of my first audiences. Gratitudeprofits.com will allow you to get a copy of this special report, which will talk even more in depth about what we've discussed today. Some good stuff in there, I must say. So I invite you to come to gratitudeprofits.com to download your free special report. I have another gift too. I mean, come on, we're getting cookies, we're getting valuable special reports. What else can be on the agenda for today? I have a copy of a CD of, this was the interview that I did with Bill Glazer about 18 months ago. And we talk about even more about using appreciation as a marketing strategy. And of course, Bill throws in his commentary and his ideas. It's really good. I was surprised when I went back and listened to it. I'm like, wow, that was pretty good. So thank you, Partiv, for handing those out. Any other comments, questions about how to implement appreciation?
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your different packages, programs, how people can work with you.
Okay.
Be bold.
Be bold. All right. ZenRabbit works, I can work with people to do one package at a time. I've had a lot of clients recently, or throughout the years of my business, tell me, you're so easy to work with, which I think is the biggest compliment they could possibly give me. But you can do one-off, a la carte, order one package, or we have a program called the Gratitude Program, which is a monthly program, helps you with that whole consistency thing that we were talking about earlier, in that you commit to, let's say, 5 packages a month. This is a large one. I have a couple others over here on the table. There's a signature package that holds 20 cookies. This one has 4 dozen. And another little package that has 4 cookies, which is just like a nice little thank you. I have a lot of clients who use that for birthdays they send out to their clients. So you can get on a monthly program whereby you're sending me a list every single month of 5 different names and addresses. Oh, thank you. And that's all you do. You send me an email and your stuff goes out. You can't really get any easier than that. Once we have you set up, we can set up your logo and you're done.
Do you have non-food items?
I am just getting to that. We are adding a product called the money tree. Have you ever heard of a money tree? They are so cool. They're actually plants. They're, I think they're in the bonsai family. But it's not really a bonsai and it's not really bamboo. It's kind of similar to both of those. Yeah, they're about this big. And so we're going to be doing the money trees. And yep, the plant, exactly. And then I'm thinking about adding some books, like The Go-Giver, some good, books on appreciation, some Dan Kennedy books. I think we're going to, I don't know, I'll have to see. But I really like because ZenRabbit is all about appreciation, there are some books. There's a book called The 365 Thank Yous, which is an awesome book. Inspirational things about gratitude, yeah, those kinds of things. And I have some other ideas. If you have any ideas, I would love to hear them as far as what you would want to see. It's kind of how that money tree came about. Was I had a client who said, hey, I'd love to be able to send, and I want to work with you to do it. I don't want to go out and find my own vendor to do it. Great, I can help you with that. Thank you.